Okay, so buyer's presentation is a little different than it's been in the past, because it's a lot more important than it used to be. So, with all the upcoming changes to NAR or changes that have already happened in NAR, if you are, depending on when you're watching this video, buyer's presentation, I think, is going to be more important than it ever has been. But back prior to COVID and prior to the um, craziness that went on when we got in the housing rush, there was a time period in which agents used to do what they called coffee talk um, meetings. And so what they would do, instead of your typical, the buyer calls, hey, can I see this house at 123 Main Street? And you're like, sure, I'll meet you there in 5 minutes. And a buyer's agent shows up at 123 Main Street, and they unlock the door and they show them the house. And do you want to buy the house? Yes, no. And I'll be in touch. Some of the really good agents would get their information and put them on a drip campaign and try to show them other houses. But typically, we kind of got in this crazy rush with buyers where we were just basically, in my humble, not so humble opinion, we almost became like Uber drivers or DoorDash. We were just creating a service, and our service became more of opening a door. And I think that's kind of what got us into some trouble. So I think we need to step back and understand the importance of our buyer's agency agreement and the importance of working with buyers. And one of the first things we need to do with that is we need to understand that we shouldn't just have a presentation for a seller. Most successful agents that I know spend a lot of time, if they're going to a listing appointment. They will research the neighborhood. They will pull a CMA. They will pull comps. They will look at homes that have sold around the area, not just the comps, but even houses that weren't comps, so that they can see what's going on in the area. They will usually research the property that they're going to look at. They're going to see how old it is. They're going to see, has it had any updates, if they can tell. They're going to look at tax records. They're going to see who owned the house. They might look and see when the current seller or potential seller had purchase the house. They may look and see if there's any mortgages on it. We will do all kind of research to go to a listing presentation, which is all very important information. You should have all of the information about the house, everything you can come up with about the house you're going to list. But at the same time, why do we not need to have the same kind of information about the house we're going to show to a potential buyer? Why are we not taking the time with our buyers to get to know our buyers, to find out what their needs are? We walk through the seller's house. We ask the seller questions. We find out why the seller wants to move. We find out, did they like the home? Did they not like the home? We find out all kind of very important information about our sellers. But somewhere along the line, we got in this rush and we started saying, oh, Mr. Buyer, you want to buy a house. My job is to open the door for you. Now, some agents were a lot more prepared than others once the buyer picked out a house, and once the buyer was determined that they were ready to buy. A lot of the more professional agents would spend a lot of time explaining contracts to buyers and explaining the buying process to buyers. But we didn't spend the upfront time creating the relationship with the buyers as we did with the sellers. So a lot of times we created relationships by showing many houses to buyers, and we got to know them because we opened the door so frequently on so many different houses. But I believe, and I could be wrong, but I definitely believe as we move forward, as buyer's agency is going to become mandatory for us to have signed prior to showing houses, prior to working with buyers. Just like RECAT is mandatory, buyer's agency is going to become mandatory. And we're going to have to explain to the buyer what our services are and what services we offer to them. So it's important that we take just a minute and maybe create a presentation to work with these buyers, so that when we're asking them to sign a buyer's agency agreement, we can explain to them the services and we can explain to them what it is we do as a buyer's agent. Just like we take the time to explain to our sellers what it is we do for them as a sellers, as a listing agent. So we're going to go briefly over a few things, a few points that I think you can do. The listing presentation or the buyer's presentation that I have is, like I said, it's branded to my office, but we will talk about the way for you to brand it to yours. It will be an opportunity for you to go in and just see what you can do individually to market yourself to your buyers, so that you're serving your buyers' needs. So you're best serving them exactly how they need, what they're looking for. You're just going to take, it's just about taking a little bit more time up front before we rush to open doors, that we are explaining the process. And I actually think this could be a very good thing moving forward, that our buyers can understand what they're getting into. They can understand the buying process and maybe make it a little less stressful on them. Can you imagine the stress that's already there and how much stress we could relieve if they understood the process in the beginning? So we're going to go briefly through this buyer's agency that I have, so that you can see what it is that you need to move forward. So a buyer's guide, that's what I call mine. I call it a buyer's guide. There's tons of places that you can purchase buyer's guides, but you just want to let them know what it is. Like I said, if I were going to present this buyer's presentation to my buyer, I would present it in a manner that I would say prepared for, and I would put my buyer's information, my buyer's name there, so that they knew that it's just that little extra, just a little bit more that I did for them to show them that I was ready to work on their behalf. So I begin just like I began on the listing presentation on why use a realtor. What makes a realtor different from a real estate agent? Our code of ethics is really what makes us different than just a typical real estate agent. If you are not a realtor, of course you would not want to put why use a realtor on your buyer's presentation. But if you are a realtor, you pay those dues to NAR, and you pay and you take the extra code of ethics class to keep up your realtor status. So let them know that you do that. Let them know that the code of ethics and professional conduct that you adhere to is greater than that required of just a standard real estate agent. Now, that doesn't mean your standard real estate agent isn't ethical. Of course, most of them are. It just lets you know that you are pursuing it by taking additional classes and being a part of an organization that emphasizes it. Like I said, on ours, you want to tell them why use an agent with your company. You want to put your company name there, what it is about your company that sets you out apart, and what backs you. So you want to let them know what kind of training you're getting in your office. Like I said, if your office offers a caravan where other agents see properties, in this case for your buyer, you don't want to say, I'm going to market your property to other agents because they don't have a property. What you want to say is, I have an opportunity because we participate in a caravan to see a lot of the properties on the market. So a lot of the properties that you wanted to look at, I may have already seen because my company offers that. Or whatever it is that your company offers that is a benefit to a buyer that you as a buyer agent has, tell them that. Create that and put that on that listing agent that's screen of why use your company or your agent or your brokerage, or what it is about your brokerage that sets you apart as a buyer's agent. So what do you have that can benefit them? So every buyer is different, and it's your job, it's my job to help you find your dream home. And I always tell my buyers, like, I will look at one or I'll look at 100 houses. I need commitments from you that you let me know exactly what it is you're looking for. If your needs or your wants change, you let me know. But it's my job to help you find the house that is exactly what you have in store. And so the main thing I'm going to need from you, Mr. Buyer, and I'm going to get you to fill it out when you fill out your buyer's agency agreement with me, is a questionnaire of what's most important to you. You have a list of 50 things that you wanted, but what are the most important? What are your non-negotiables? What must you have in a house? Now, I'm going to do my best to find you everything you want. And it's my job to make sure you're happy, and it's my job to make sure your needs are met. But at the same time, I need to know your non-negotiables so that I can make sure that I find the perfect house for your needs, your budget, and your lifestyle. If you have 5 dogs and you need a large backyard, I need to know that, so I'm not showing you garden homes that don't have a yard, or not sending you those, so I'm not wasting your time, because I know that your time is very valuable, and I know that you're hiring me as an agent so that you can save your time, so that I can help you find what you need. How I will determine and identify potential properties. Once you tell me what you're looking for, I have various tools and strategies to stay on top of what is available on the market, so that you don't miss out on your dream home. So I have lots and lots of resources, and some of the resources that I use are other agents. I work well with other agents. I make sure that I know what they have listed and what they have on the market, so that I can stay up to date on the market. And because this is the area that I work in, and this is my community, a lot of the homes on the market, I know where they are. I know about them. I know what's going on around them. I can't guarantee you I know every intricate detail, but I do understand this market. So I have lots of things to help me identify potential homes for you. I like to encourage you to attend any open houses. I'll be happy to accompany with you on open houses. I'll also be happy to give you information about open houses. So if you want to spend the day on a Sunday afternoon driving by, seeing what's on the market, seeing what's available, or if you want me to send you a list of open houses, I will be glad to do that. Don't feel that just because I'm your agent, you don't have the right to get out there and look. So I'll be happy to help you with that. And help you with a strategy on seeing those houses. I'm going to provide you the most recent information on lifestyle factors such as schools, places of worship, retail, public transportation, to ensure your home is located in an area that suits your needs. So let me know what you're looking for, and I will direct you to the resource, whether it be the Chamber of Commerce, whether it be the school website, whether it be the school Facebook page, that will help give you the information that you're looking for on the community, because each buyer has a unique need, and I want to make sure that I'm reaching those needs for you and that I find out what's available for you. So if you'll let me know, let me be your resource. Let me help you, guide you to the correct resources for the information that what you're looking for, what you want to live by, what's important to you. Everybody, I tell people where I live like really close to 2 counties. And I tell people, I was like, some people really want to be in this county and some people really want to be in this county. And I don't really care which county you're in, but I understand that there is a different need and a different clientele right on that line that is very important to that client. So you want to make sure you let that client know, like, I know if you'll tell me what's important to you, I'll make sure that I'm researching what is important to you. How much home can you afford? My team of industry professionals and I can help you determine your buying power. It's very important when we talk about how much home you can afford. We don't necessarily mean how much home are you going to be approved for, because sometimes a lender will approve you for more than what you want to spend. So we're going to talk about how much your monthly payment is going to be, how much your taxes and insurance, so that you know how much is coming out of your pocket, because some people like to eat out every single night, and you don't want to buy a house that keeps you from eating out every night if that's the lifestyle you want to live. Some people don't, and some people are good with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. It doesn't matter to me which lifestyle you choose to live. It matters to me that I help you find a home that fits your needs, that continues you to let you live in the lifestyle that you like, that you choose to live in. Nobody wants to be house poor. And so I'm going to make sure that I try to keep in mind for you what it is you're looking for as not just a home. We can find the home that meets your needs, that fits within your lifestyle. So that's something that I'm going to take into consideration when I'm working with you as a buyer's agent. I'm not going to push something on you just because the lender says you can afford it if you tell me that's not what you want. So we want to make sure that we stay and we meet your needs. I can also give you comparable recent solds. I have access to the MLS. Don't be afraid to do a CMA for a buyer. If a buyer can't decide if they want to make an offer or don't want to make an offer on the house, if a buyer can't decide how much they want to ask make an offer for a particular property, and they're asking you, what I always tell my buyers is I can give you the data. I can tell you what the other homes in the market, what the other homes have sold for. I can tell you what their CMA is, what it comes out to be. I can do a CMA for a buyer on a property, and I'll be happy to do that for you. What I cannot do is I cannot determine the value of your living close to your family. I cannot tell you the value of living close to work. I can't tell you the value of the paint room or the entertainment space or whatever it is that you're looking for, because home purchases are not just investments. They're great investments, but they're not just investments. They are your home. So I want you to know I'm going to give you all the education you need to purchase a house. I cannot put a value on things that are sentimental or important to you. So I will give you that, and then we're going to determine off of that what we think the house should sell for and what we think the best offer is. But I'm always going to let you determine how much you want to purchase a house for, how much you want to pay for a particular house. So it's my job to give you the information and the resources you need so you can make an educated decision on how much it is you want to offer. I'm huge on communication. I want to be available to you every step of the way. I want to make this process as smooth as possible for you. I am available to you. If you like to text, I like to text. If you want to talk on the phone, I am all about talking on the phone. And if you want to email, we'll email. Whatever it is, your form of communication, I'm there to answer your questions. Don't feel like they're too big or too small of a question for you to call and ask me. If it's too big and I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you. My job is to be your resource. My job is to make this process smooth for you. If you've talked to the lender and they say something and you don't understand, don't feel embarrassed. This is my industry. I don't know how to do your job. I couldn't show up every day. So call me and ask me and I'll walk you through it. And if I don't understand either, we'll find out together so that you're moving forward and the process is moving along and you're happy with the process. So my job, I feel like my most important job to you is to be available to communicate to you, Mr. Buyer, so that you can call me at any time. I'm going to be your trusted advisor. So you want to let them know that you'll communicate with them, because that's the number one thing they say they don't like is agents don't communicate, and that you are there to work on their behalf. You found your home and you're ready to submit an offer. I serve as your trusted advisor, helping you navigate what can be a complicated process. Buying a house is hard. So I am here for you. I am your resource. I am here to serve you. You just want to reiterate that to the buyer so that they understand. By the way, all these promises you're making to your buyer, you need to be ready to fulfill and follow through with any promises you make in your buyer's presentation. So if there's anything that I've put in my buyer's presentation that you don't do, don't put it in yours. Don't put anything in the presentation. Don't sell them. Don't make promises to them that are untrue. I have great negotiating skills. I want to represent your best interest at all time, and I will negotiate on your behalf. That is my job, is to make sure that I try to get you exactly what you want. Should you tell me you're willing to pay more, I'm not just going to go to that agent and tell them, oh, they'll just pay more, just make a higher counter. I'm going to do best to get the best deal for you that I possibly can without you losing the property. And that is my job, is to negotiate on your behalf. How you tell me to negotiate is how I will negotiate. Just like in the listing presentation, you're going to tell them, why am I uniquely positioned to help you? What about me is unique that I can work on your behalf as a buyer's agent? Have I been in the industry a long time? Do I know this community really well? Do I just promise that I'm going to look every single day and work every day on your behalf? Whatever it is, you want to be unique in telling them something about you that will help them feel confident that they should hire you as their buyer's agent. Remember, you are no longer just opening doors for buyers now. We want buyers to hire us. We want buyers to be committed to working with us. Like I said, if your organization gives back or if you give to charity, you want to tell them right now that you give to charity, that you will give on their behalf. If you do give part of your commission as part of charity, let them know. If you don't tell them that you're going to. So it's up to you whether or not you put the slide in there. But if you can put something in there showing them that you do care about the community that they're moving into, that will help them understand that you are also part of the community and that you also care about them. Again, we're going to tell them about the power of the organization behind you and what it is in particular about your organization, about your brokerage. It doesn't matter if your brokerage are big or small. You chose to work at that brokerage for a reason. You are happy there. There's something about it that brought you there, whether it be your broker, whether it be the other agents in the office, whether it be the size of the office, whether it be what it does. Let them know, I love where I work. Everybody wants to work with people who love where they work. So you want to let them know, I love where I work. So that's what you're telling them here. The buying your home process. And like I said, I always tell them, like, this is just a little piece of the buying the home process. But the first step in buying a home is to hire a real estate agent. You want to hire a trusted advisor who you can count on the entire process. You don't want to have to change in the middle. Your next step is going to be to obtain a loan pre-approval. I have a list of lenders that I can give you, and it's going to be based, you and I are going to discuss what your criteria is, what you're looking for, and I'm going to give you a list of lenders. You're going to call and interview those lenders just like you're interviewing me as the real estate agent. I want you to hire the lender that you feel can best serve you. Remember, when you're talking to lenders, I want you to ask not just what the interest rate is and what the payment is. We want to know what their closing cost is. We want to know how long it takes them to close. We want to know any questions that are important to you. We want to make sure that lender answers. We want to know, do they work electronically? Are they going to make you come by and sign paperwork? All of those things are important questions that you're going to ask your lender, and I can give you information to ask your lender when you call to interview your lender. But and I'll give you a list, or you can call someone on your own. We just want to make sure that first, you're going to team up with a professional real estate agent that you feel comfortable with, that you know is going to work on your behalf. And then the next person we want to team up with, if you have a lender, is a lender that's going to work on your behalf, that can do the programs that you need to do, that's going to follow up with you, that's going to communicate with you, that's going to stay in touch with you. So we want to make sure we find that person. So we're going to help you, direct you in who you can interview to make sure you're working with that lender who works on your behalf. You're going to complete the perfect home questionnaire. I'm going to give you a questionnaire. You're going to give me a list of exactly what you want. Like I said, I'm going to need to know the must-haves and the non-negotiables, and then I'm going to need to know some preferences so that we can make sure that we are putting the most important feature of your home first. We're going to look at houses. We're going to look at houses until we find the house that you want to buy. I understand that buying a house is a big, big process. It is not my job to push you on a house. It is my job to help you to make sure that you're getting the home you need. Now, I may question you if you are hesitant about buying a house. I need to know if you're hesitant because you're just scared of buying a house, but you're going to buy a house, or if you don't like that house. I do ask you, one of my things, if we look at a whole bunch of houses and we go in one that you hate, I ask you that we don't stay there for an hour. You let me know you hate it. You let me know why you hate it, and we leave and we go look at more houses. That's my agreement to you as a buyer's agent. You can tell them that. If you don't have that agreement, if you like to hang around, look at houses with them, look at houses with them. I just usually tell them up front, like, let's not stay here forever if you hate it. Let's just look and go. If you love it, let's stay here, as long as we need to make the decision. But So I tell them this kind of stuff up front because I don't want to go show them 6 houses and it takes 6 hours and they hated every single one of them. So if I can make an agreement with them ahead of time during this buyer's process that say, hey, look, if you hate it, let's go. And that, I mean, I've sat in houses with people, especially when I first got in the business, that they would tell me everything that they would do to make the house, like if the house had this and if the house had this and if the house, I don't care. It doesn't have that. We're not going to buy this house. So don't be afraid to tell them up front, like, hey, look, our job is to find you, our goal is to find you the perfect house. It's not to criticize every other house that we don't like. So find a way to tell them, like, hey, if you don't like it, let's get in and get out. If it doesn't, I'm good looking and I'm good showing, but let's focus our time on what's productive. After we find the perfect house, we're going to create an offer to purchase on the desired property. We're going to negotiate the terms. I'm going to go over that contract in detail with you so that you can understand exactly what you're negotiating, exactly what's important to you, everything from time to occupy the house, the risk of letting a seller stay, the risk of asking for immediate possession. I'm going to go over the risk of termite, lead-based paint, everything. I'm going to explain it to you in very detailed so that you feel very comfortable with the offer you made. Once we get an accepted offer, yay, then we're going to start we're going to get the home inspection and we're going to start working to fulfill all the contingencies that we wrote in that contract so that we can get the mortgage and we can get the property, we can get closed so that you can move in. So I'm going to hold your hand and be with you every step of the way. Every single person that you work with, from the lender to the termite person, all of those people I'm going to assist and be part of so that you shouldn't feel like you're out on your own at all. So that's going to be my job in your home buying process. Your mortgage process, the very first step is your application. You're going to need to, but before you apply, we need to talk to those lenders and find out to make sure that you like that lender. You need to make sure that there's somebody that you can work with. There's somebody that you're comfortable with. They offer the terms that you need. They offer the type of financing you need, all of those things. All the lenders are going to tell you, submit your application. You need to ask questions first so that you know that you're submitting the application to the right lender. Once you submit it for approval and your mortgage is approved, they're going to start asking you for everything under the sun, and we're going to start working on getting that documentation to them. I'm going to explain to you the process. One of the things that I'll tell you now, like, don't buy a car. That's important on the mortgage process. It can keep you from buying a house. I'm also going to let you know that sometimes the lenders will ask for 2 weeks worth of paycheck stubs, but we're under contract for a month. So they might have to get them again because the lender needs the last 2 weeks. So don't be frustrated with your lender when they're asking for paperwork that you feel like you've already submitted, because sometimes they just have to do that. So I'm going to let you know that mortgage process and things that lender could ask for. Anything that I know of that may be coming up, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to let you know the process. Like, so when we order inspection, when we order appraisal, termite, septic, all of that, so that you'll understand. In the meantime, during this entire mortgage process, we're going to go ahead and have that title being searched to make sure that title is clear and free. And then once we get everything approved, we'll meet at the attorney's office and close so that you can purchase your home. And I'm going to help you in every single aspect of that. Closing costs. There's a lot of things related to closing costs. This is one of the reasons I said when you talk to your attorney, when you talk to your lender, you need to talk to the lender because different lenders have different closing costs. So make sure you're going over those closing costs with your lender. I'm going to go over everything that I have with you. If you have a question about points or interest rates or anything like that, I am not a lender, but I have a general knowledge, and my knowledge is I have layman terms. So sometimes I can explain things well, even though we might have to go back to the lender to get very clarification. But all of these things that are going to be on your closing costs, I'm going to go over with you so you'll know when you make an offer. We're going to be able to tell you exactly how much you should have to bring to the closing table, how much cash in hand you need prior to making that offer. So I'll help you with that on each offer, on each segment. So you're going to need to let your clients know, like, this is what I do. We do all these things, but we need to make sure that our clients know that we are doing them so that they feel comfortable working with us. More things about closing costs. And like I said, we'll go over each of those. We're also moving considerations. It would be great if I have something that I give to my clients. Do you have something that you give to your clients? These are the things you're going to need to look at with moving. I'm going to remind you of these as these come along because I'm your agent and that's my job. So I'm going to remind you that you need to set up the utilities. I'm going to remind you that you need to call the power company so that you don't move in and then be like, oh no, I don't have any power. Or even worse, something I did because I'm an agent and I still forgot. Oh no, I moved in and I forgot that the water's gas, the heat. And so I have no hot water, that kind of stuff. Other things that you need to set up, you need to go to the post office and change your address, your pest services. We're going to find out, try to get a list from the seller of everything that we have to make your transition as smooth as possible. And I'm going to help you I'm going to help try to make sure you remember everything that you need to do when you move into a house, because it can be overwhelming. Moving into a house can be hard. So I want to make sure you have those in place. I'm going to give you some tips for moving in preparation, arrange with movers, all your packing needs. I'm going to tell you might want to not hire a mover, but if you can, it's worth it. They're great. What you need to do, your plants in your vehicles. I'm going to make sure you collect all your keys for the new property, and make sure we arrange with the new homeowner, with the seller, what you need, and make sure they bring everything to you. Make sure you cancel any newspaper or magazine subscriptions or have those transferred to your new property so that you're not paying them. Open your forward your mail, your bank statements, all of these things that you need to do to your new address. I'm going to give you a checklist to help with your move-in preparation so that you're just not overwhelmed, because the process is overwhelming, but it's so worth it. It's so much fun when you get there. Moving day tips. Charge your cell phone the day before you move because you're going to be hectic and crazy. Check your house, double check your house for any missed items. Look above the refrigerator in that cabinet that hasn't been opened since you moved in. Look under the closet, under the stairs, in the top of your closet, any hiding places you may have had for missed items. You might want to go ahead and organize your suitcase for pet items, children items, coolers available for moving days. You want to make sure that you need the stuff. You want to pack like you're kind of going to a hotel on moving day if you're going to move in, so that you'll be able to access the things you need the next day. All your chargers, that kind of stuff. Any kind of a list that you do for your clients in moving, you want to let them know that you're going to do this, that you're going to have this available for them, so that they know that you're ready, that you're prepared to help them to enjoy their first house, and that you're thinking of them. So there's a lot of things that you do as an agent that we already do, but we're not telling our buyers up front. So let's take the time up front to spend 30 minutes, an hour with them to go over things. But make sure you don't put anything in this list, in this buyer's presentation, that you don't do for your buyer. So if you don't do move-in day tips, don't tell them you're going to give them move-in day tips. Make sure that you're only the things that you're doing, you put in the presentation. Again, I include my testimonials because it makes me real. People like testimonials. Again, I give them my commitment. I have under 100% of my effort of delivering a first-class service. I want to make the process simple and smooth. I give them the access to my network of industry professionals. And again, I want to reiterate to them, I want to serve as your trusted advisor. I want you to hire me on your behalf, because I want to help you with this huge transaction, this huge purchase, this life-changing thing. And by this point in time, you've probably talked to them enough that you know their why. Why are they moving? At this point in time, I would reiterate the why I want to help you with, and not buy a house. Buying a house is not their why. Their why is, I want to buy a bigger house. I want more room for my kids. I want less room. I don't want to clean so much. I want a big yard. I want less of a yard. Whatever their why is, they've probably told you somewhere in the conversation. So reiterate their why. I want to be a part of whatever your why is. And that's a great opportunity and to build rapport with your clients. Your next step, I've got the buyer survey, my perfect home forms with me. I've got lender recommendations with me, not recommendations, lender list of people that I have worked with in the business who you're going to interview. I will set you up on an MLS search where you'll know every house that shows up, and I'm going to schedule showing appointments to view any selected homes. But our real next step is whether or not you're going to hire. I'm going to ask you to hire me as your buyer's agent. And so I'm going to go over buyer's agency with you and how that works. And I'm going to explain it to you in detail at this. That's going to be your next step now. It's going to be explaining buyer's agency and asking them, I'm asking, can I work on your behalf? Can I be your agent? And that's going to be the next step. Thank you for reviewing this presentation. I'm always ready to help. And so I just close out, and probably right here, because this on mine I can change. I usually change it to, are you ready to get started? Or here's how buyer's representation works. And I would move straight from this presentation into my buyer's representation to try to get them to sign to hire me as a buyer, and explain any commission that might be involved, or any fees or anything like that may be involved with hiring me as an agent. Thank you so much for taking the Talking the Talk class. It's material that I really enjoy, most of it, except for the understanding the market part. But I do think it's important as real estate agents that we speak positively and professionally, and we treat our clients with the utmost respect and professionalism. I wish you the best of luck. Get out, sell some houses, pick up some buyers and some sellers, use these buyers agencies, and congratulations on completing the course.